I worked the front desk at a Berlin hospital. An American woman burst in, clutching her ankle, limping dramatically. She was on vacation, twisted it badly at a beer garden. I got her registered, and a doctor saw her within 20 minutes. X-rays showed a bad sprain. They wrapped it, gave her crutches, prescribed pain medication. 45 minutes later, she was ready to leave. That's when she approached my desk. Pulled out 3 different credit cards and spread them on the counter like playing cards. "Okay," she announced. "I have a $10,000 limit on this one, $8,000 on this one. And this one's maxed, but maybe it'll work for the copay." I stared at her. "Ma'am, your bill is €80. Her face went pale. "80,000? No, €80. About $90. She looked at the cards, then at me, then at the cards again. For the X-ray. For everything. She actually started crying. Not from pain. From relief. She told me she'd been panicking the entire time, calculating which credit card to max out first, whether she'd have to call her family for a loan. She said back home, an ER visit like this would have cost her $8,000 minimum. Even with insurance. "I thought I'd be paying this off for years," she whispered. She left with her crutches and her dignity intact. All 3 credit cards unused. The next American who came in asked if we had a payment plan option. "For €80, I'm a nurse in Stockholm." An American tourist came in with a nasty gash on his hand from a broken beer bottle. Needed stitches immediately. While I prepped the wound, he kept asking to use his phone. "Sir, please stay still. I need to call my insurance company first." He was frantic. Like the wound wasn't the emergency, the paperwork was. "Your insurance isn't relevant here. You pay, then you submit later. But I need pre-authorization. What if they don't cover out-of-network international providers?" He started Googling frantically with his non-bleeding hand. "Is this facility a network with Blue Cross? Do you accept Aetna?" "Sir, we accept euros. What's your provider number?" "I need to verify coverage levels." Blood was literally dripping on his phone screen. I finally just started stitching. He kept trying to navigate his insurance app with one hand while I worked. After I finished 12 stitches, bandaged, tetanus shot, the bill came to 340 kronor, about $32. He stared at it like it was written in alien language. This can't be right. Where's the facility fee? The specialist consultation charge? The separate billing for the tetanus shot? That's included. What about the out-of-network penalty? There is no network. He sat there for another 20 minutes, convinced we'd forgotten to charge him properly. He kept asking when the real bill would arrive in the mail. I told him this was it. He left a bad review online. Said our hospital's billing system was suspiciously underdeveloped and definitely not HIPAA compliant. He warned other Americans that we probably bill you later with hidden fees. Don't? I drive an ambulance in Amsterdam. Got called to a hotel where an American man, maybe 50, was having severe chest pains. Possible heart attack. His wife met us in the lobby, absolutely frantic. But not about her husband. How much does the ambulance cost? She asked before we even got to the room. "Ma'am, your husband, I know, but we need to know if we can afford this. Can he just take an Uber to the hospital?" I literally stopped walking in Uber. He might be having a heart attack. Okay, but in America, an ambulance costs like $4,000. We can't afford that. Can we drive him ourselves? My partner and I just looked at each other. "Ma'am, the ambulance is about €600. She looked shocked, then immediately guilty. Oh God, I wasted time asking about this when he could be dying. We got upstairs. The husband was gray, sweating, clutching his chest. And you know what he asked us? "Do you guys take credit cards or is it insurance only?" "Sir, you can settle the bill later. We need to go now. But I need to know my out-of-pocket maximum first." My partner literally had to say, "You can have a heart attack later. Get on the stretcher." At the hospital, turned out it was severe indigestion, not a heart attack. The wife cried again from relief about his health and about the bill. The total for ambulance, a visit, ECG, blood tests. An observation was €1,200. She'd been prepared to let him die rather than call an ambulance because she thought it would bankrupt them. Her words, we were doing the math on whether it was worth it. Worth it. For her husband's life. I'm a pharmacist in Copenhagen. An American university student came in with a prescription for antibiotics for a severe throat infection. Basic amoxicillin, standard dose. She handed me the paper, then immediately asked, do you need my insurance card? No, just the prescription. But how will you bill my insurance? We don't. You pay us, you get reimbursed later if your insurance covers international prescriptions. Okay. She pulled out her phone, started using a good Rextype app. So what's the cash price without insurance? I scanned the prescription. 42 kroner. For how many pills? The full course. 20 pills. She looked up sharply. I'm sorry, 42 kroner for all of them? Yes, that's like $5. About 6, yes. She stared at me like I'd just told her Santa was real. In the US, this exact prescription cost me $180 last year, with insurance. The pharmacy told me my insurance didn't cover the brand name even though it was generic. That doesn't make sense. I know. She was nearly shouting. Do you know how many times I've just not filled prescriptions because I couldn't afford them? I had a sinus infection last semester. The antibiotics cost $200. I just waited it out and hoped I wouldn't die. She paid the $6. Stood there holding the bag like it might disappear. This is what my monthly birth control costs at home, she said quietly. $6. Not $6 per pill. The entire month? And you guys wonder why Americans are so screwed up about healthcare? She came back a week later, healthy, and asked if she could take a photo with me for her Instagram. Said she wanted to show people what a non-dystopian pharmacy looks like. I manage a clinic in Prague. An American backpacker came in with an infected tick bite. We get a lot of those during summer. Nasty looking, definitely needed antibiotics and possibly IV treatment. After the doctor examined him, I explained the treatment plan and gave him the bill estimate, about 2,800 karunas for the visit. Antibiotics and blood tests to check for Lyme disease. He crossed his arms. You're telling me that in a country with socialized medicine, I have to pay? Yes, because you're not a Czech citizen or EU resident. But I thought healthcare was free here. It's free for people who pay taxes here. You're a tourist? Got visibly angry. This is false advertising. Everyone told me Europe has free healthcare. Free for Europeans paying into the system. You're American, that's discrimination. I just stared at him. Sir, you want us to give you free medical care? That's how socialism works, right? Everything's free? Nothing is free. Czech citizens pay for this through taxes, but I'm paying taxes. In America, taxes are taxes. My colleague had to step in and explain slowly, like to a child, that Czech taxes fund Czech healthcare. American taxes fund American healthcare. Actually, American taxes mostly fund American military spending. But that's not my business. He left convinced Europe was a scam. Posted on social media that Prague's healthcare system was just capitalism with extra steps. His bill was $120 in America. That infected tick bite would have cost him $3,000. Minimum. He somehow missed that part. I work at a hospital in Lyon. An American woman. Came in for emergency gallbladder surgery. She'd been in severe pain for hours, and it was close to rupturing. Time-sensitive situation. After surgery, she woke up asking for her purse. The nurses thought she wanted to call her family. No. She wanted her insurance card. I need to get this pre-authorized, she mumbled. Still groggy from anesthesia? Ma'am, the surgery is already done.
What?
She tried to sit up, panicked. You didn't get authorization first? My insurance is going to deny this. They always deny emergency claims if you don't call the authorization hotline within 2 hours. Your insurance isn't involved. You'll receive a bill. How much? She looked terrified. Approximately 3,500 euros for surgery, anesthesia, 2-night hospital stay, and medications. Then asked, and that's what you're charging my insurance? No, that's what we're charging you. Your insurance may reimburse you later. Wait, she was doing mental math. You could see it in her eyes. 3,500 euros. That's about $4,000? Approximately. For gallbladder surgery. Emergency surgery. Yes. She started laughing. Then crying. Then laughing while crying. My insurance quoted me $48,000 for this exact surgery last year. I postponed it because my deductible was $12,000 and my out-of-pocket max was $15,000. I was in pain for 8 months because I couldn't afford it. I came to France on vacation and my gallbladder said, nope, doing this now. She stayed an extra day because she loved the nurses. Said it was the first time in a hospital she didn't feel like a debtor. I'm a doctor in Oslo. An American patient came in for a routine checkup. He'd moved to Norway for work. During the exam, he kept asking pointed questions about wait times, government involvement, rationing of care. Finally, he said, "Don't you ever feel like the government controls your healthcare decisions?" Sometimes there are guidelines. Yes. See. That's exactly what I'm talking about. In America, my doctor and I decide my treatment. No government bureaucrat gets involved. Your insurance company gets involved, though. That's different. That's a private contract that denies your claims. Sometimes, sure, but that's the free market. I have choices. I can switch insurers, and all of them deny claims. But it's my choice to pick which company denies my claims. That's freedom. I didn't know what to say to that. Sir, I've never had to argue with anyone about whether a patient gets necessary care. If you need it, you get it. But what if the government decides you don't need it? The medical guidelines decide. Based on evidence? What if you disagree with the guidelines? Then I make a case for why this patient needs an exception. And usually I win, because I'm the doctor, and I know my patient. And if you don't win, I've lost maybe twice in 15 years. Both times I was probably wrong. He looked uncomfortable. In America, I can pay out of pocket for whatever I want. You can do that here too. Yeah, but it's not as expensive, so it doesn't feel like real freedom. I'm still trying to unpack that one. Apparently freedom is when healthcare costs force you into bankruptcy. The more it costs, the freer you are. I'm an American who moved to Germany 5 years ago. I work as a translator at a Munich hospital, helping American tourists navigate the system. Last month, an American couple came in. The husband had broken his leg skiing. Compound fracture, needed surgery, plates, screws, the whole thing. I was assigned to help them through the process. After the surgery, I sat down with them to explain the bill. The wife was already crying before I said anything. "Just tell us," she whispered. "How much?" I looked at the itemized bill. For the surgery, anesthesia, 3 nights in the hospital, medications, and physical therapy consultation, ... 6,800 euros. The husband went pale. 6,800 euros. That's about $7,500. Roughly, yes. They both started crying. Actual sobbing. The wife grabbed my hand. That's it? That's all? That's the full amount. Yes. In America, the husband said, voice shaking, this would have cost us $60,000. Minimum. Our deductible alone is $15,000. We talked about just setting the bone without surgery and hoping it healed wrong rather than going bankrupt. I've seen this reaction dozens of times. Americans completely breaking down when they realize they're not going to lose their house over a medical emergency. The system that should be normal affordable. Healthcare feels like a miracle to them. That's how broken the US system is. People cry from relief when they receive a reasonable medical bill. I'm a midwife in Sweden. An American woman, living in Stockholm with her Swedish husband, gave birth at our hospital. Beautiful, healthy baby boy. Standard vaginal delivery, no complications, 2-night stay. When I brought the bill, she asked, "Is this just the facility fee?" "This is everything." She looked at the number, 1,800 kronor, about $170. Wait, no, where's the actual birth? The doctor fees? The epidural? The nursery charges for the baby? The separate billing for skin-to-skin contact? All included. What about the lactation consultant? Included the postpartum checkups? Free. The home nurse visits. Also free. She looked at her husband. Your country charged us $170 to birth a whole human. He shrugged. Seems reasonable. Reasonable. My sister in Texas paid $38,000 with insurance. They charged her $40 to hold her own baby. They billed skin-to-skin contact as a separate line item. I've heard this story before. American hospitals charge separately for letting mothers hold their newborns immediately after birth. They call it a service. We call it being human. She stayed an extra 3 days, not for medical reasons, but because she couldn't believe how well she was being treated. She kept waiting for the catch, the hidden fees, the surprise bill in the mail 3 months later. There was no catch, just healthcare, functioning as it should. I work at a Paris hospital as an administrator. An elderly American man came in for emergency heart surgery, a major procedure, life-saving, urgent. His daughter flew in from New York. She's terrified she was about to lose her father and her inheritance to medical debt. After the surgery successful, her father would be fine. She asked to speak with me about payment options. She had a folder, an actual folder with documents, financial statements, loan applications, a second mortgage pre-approval. We need to set up a payment plan, she said, very businesslike but clearly stressed. I can put down $20,000 now, and we can pay $2,000 a month for however long it takes. My father's house is paid off, so we can take a loan against that if Madame, I interrupted gently. The total cost is 4,200 euros. She blinked. I'm sorry? 4,200 euros. About $4,600. For the surgery, ICU stay, medications, cardiac rehabilitation, everything. She sat there, folder open, paper spilling out, documents for loans she didn't need, financial plans for a crisis that didn't exist. My father had this same surgery in Florida 2 years ago, she said slowly. It cost $197,000. His insurance covered $80,000. He's still paying off the rest. He'll die in debt. She closed the folder, just sat there, looking at it. He came to visit me in Paris and had a heart attack, and it saved his life financially, she said. He had a heart attack in the right country. She left that folder on my desk. I don't think she meant to. But later, when I tried to return it, she said, keep it. I don't need it anymore. The folder represented everything Americans are taught to fear about medical care: bankruptcy, debt, choosing between health and financial survival. She'd prepared for disaster because disaster is the norm in America. In Europe, healthcare being affordable isn't a miracle. It's Tuesday. Americans deserve better. They deserve to cry from joy when receiving medical care, not from financial relief when the bill isn't catastrophic. They deserve what we have. The radical idea that healthcare is a right, it's not a luxury.